How the new Coastal Road project is changing everything in Ibejulekki, Lagos. A lot of people are talking about the Coastal Road, but there is a lot of noise and misunderstanding. In this video, I want to tell you what is actually happening on ground, why some properties will make money while others may be at risk of demolition, and exactly how to position yourself, where to buy and where to avoid so you don't lose your money. The new Coastal Road project is not just changing the future of real estate in Lagos, it is already changing the present reality. If you are looking at Ibejulekki and you don't understand what is already happening with this road, the new Coastal Road project, then you are looking at the market blindly, because it is not just another infrastructure project, it is a structural shift that is already in motion. The Coastal Road, part of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, is already cutting through key parts of Lagos, opening up multiple entry routes into the Lekki corridor and beyond. The road is not just the value, the connection is the main value. Before now, accessibility was one of the biggest limitations of Ibejulekki. Yes, people were buying land, but the movement was still restricted, even though the hype was there. And everything depended heavily on the Lekki Expressway. But now that has already changed. Areas that used to feel far no longer feel far. Movement is already improving, access is expanding, and in real estate, once accessibility improves, we already know that the value responds immediately. And that's why we can already see the shift. This coastal road has opened up an entirely new development corridor running parallel to the existing axis. That means pressure is already being redistributed. Attention is already shifting and land value is already adjusting based on positioning. But here is where things get even more serious, and this is where many people are currently confused. Because while development is happening, planning is also being adjusted. There have been situations where building approvals along parts of this corridor were paused so that the government can realign the entire planning framework. This is because the road is disrupting existing master plans and forcing a reconfiguration of how that region is structured. And whenever planning is being redrawn, two things happen. Some people win massively and some people lose completely. If your property falls within a newly strategic corridor, close to the road alignments or key intersections, your land value increases rapidly. We've already seen this because demand follows infrastructure, commercial activity follows accessibility. And over time, that area becomes a hotspot. But on the other hand, if your land falls within an affected alignment, meaning the road cuts through or your structure violates setback requirements, you may face restrictions, you may face redesign or even loss. And this is not theory. We've already seen this. There are already areas along this coastal corridor where structures have been marked for demolition. One of the key reasons is non-compliance with setback. Let me explain this properly, because the road expansion and the introduction of additional infrastructure, the new bridge coming into this corridor, the government is taking space and they are not negotiating with structures that fall within restricted zones. There was one particular time that in the news that they announced that people should stop whatever activity they were doing as regards setbacks because there are some adjustments that are being made.
They are creating, let's say, setback or allowance for bridges. They say there are two bridges that are going to come here. These beacons, those are the setouts for the bridge that's going to come, from here. So one of the bridges to take those coming from Shangotedo, Monastery Road, going towards Ibeju across. So this place is going to be blocked, so it doesn't affect traffic along, the coastal road. So the bridge will take you from Shangotedo across, going towards Ibeju. Then those coming from Lekki, going to towards Ibeju, but want to go back to Lekki, there'll be a bridge that provides a U-turn that will take you back. But those that, if you're going from Sokotedo to Lekki, you still have your normal direct access here. So you have more connectivity on Sokotedo Monastery Road here. So if you can see the beacons of the road, just all those sticks. So all this fence is going to go down, right? So they're going to expand this for the bridges. So you can see that they demolished all those fences here.
If your building is too close to the road, if you did not leave the required setback, your structure is at risk. So if you are building or you plan to build anywhere close to this coastal road that we are talking about, you need to be extremely intentional. Leave adequate space from the front. I've already seen developers that are following this already. Respect setbacks. Don't assume your building is safe just because others are still standing beside you. Enforcement may not happen everywhere at once, but when it reaches your area, it becomes very real. And I need to give a very big shout out to the developers that are complying strictly with all this. There are some developers that have lands around the coastal road, but they leave enough setbacks that even if government wants to expand road, build any new infrastructure, do whatever, it can never get to them because of the, they follow this setback given by the government and they even added extra. That's like 2FA, two-factor authentication. So that is where buying blindly in Ibejulekki right now is dangerous if you don't understand what is happening with this coastal road. Another thing people are not paying attention to is timing. A lot of investors are rushing in because they've heard, yeah, the coastal road is there, but you see, the smart ones are asking different questions. Where are those places? How can it affect property? Aside the fact that the value is going up, because proximity alone is not enough. Positioning is everything. There's also the issue of speculation versus reality. Anytime a major infrastructure project like this comes up, the market becomes noisy, prices start going up. Not always because of actual development, but because of expectation. And this is where many people get trapped. They buy based on the hype, not based on the planning intelligence. So let's ground this clearly. Yes, the coastal road is clearly improving connectivity and it is already reducing travel stress and redistributing movement. Yes, it is already increasing visibility and commercial potential along that corridor. But it is also disrupting some layouts and there are planning reviews and it is in fact exposing poorly positioned investments. So it's not a one-sided opportunity, it's a technical shift. And if you are going to invest or build around that axis, you need to move differently. You need to verify road alignment, understand government planning direction, work with professionals, and most importantly, stop relying on marketing alone. Because in a situation like this, information is not enough. Accurate information is what is going to protect you. Now, let's talk about the opportunity side, especially commercial investments, because this is where things are becoming very interesting. With improved accessibility and increased traffic flow, these areas are no longer just residential zones. They are evolving into commercial corridors. Businesses are already paying attention because where movement increases, visibility increases, and where visibility increases, commercial value follows. In commercial real estate, the major driver is traffic. So if you are looking at opportunities in retail, hospitality, logistics, and mixed-use development, you are sitting on something extremely valuable in terms of commercial real estate. If you are looking to invest in a commercial property along this coastal corridor, I currently have access to options that are properly positioned with adequate setbacks from the front and they align with planning expectations. These are not speculative locations. These are properties where, regardless of how the road expands or how planning adjusts, your investments remain protected. If you are serious about taking advantage of what is already happening without exposing yourself to unnecessary risk, you can send me a message directly. I will guide you properly. Because at the end of the day, infrastructure like this does not just create opportunity. Like I said, it also exposes mistakes. And the people who win are not the people who move first. They are the ones who understand what is actually happening, and move accordingly, positioning correctly. There's a voice speaking to you right now, telling you, share, share, share. I am seriously begging you to listen to that voice and share this video with your community on Facebook and WhatsApp groups. Anywhere in the world, this information is exactly what some people need so that they will not fall into traps. Maybe they just haven't told you yet that they want to buy something around the coastal um, corridor. Like the video as well, and make sure you subscribe to my channel because I will continue breaking down what is really happening in Lagos real estate, so you don't just follow the trends, you move with clarity. I remain Bisola Wildflower. Don't forget to check out my other videos. I'll see you around. Happy investing.